Hi guys, welcome to this video looking at how you can draw the structure of alkenes. First things first then, what actually are alkenes? Nice and simply, they are unsaturated hydrocarbons. So if you've seen any of the previous videos, you should know what an unsaturated hydrocarbon is, but just as a quick recap, unsaturated means it contains a double bond, and hydrocarbon means hydrogen and carbon only. Now the way to remember that, if you have a look at the centre of the word alkene, it contains the letter E. That means equals. So that's my little way of remembering it. And if it's equals, it means it's got an equal sign, which is your double bond. So if we have a look at an example, I've got a molecule here with 2 carbons with 6 hydrogens around it. As we can see, it's got hydrogen and carbon only. So it's a hydrocarbon, but it doesn't contain a double bond. Therefore, it is not an alkene. It is not unsaturated. It's actually an alkane. If we have a look at the second example, I've got 2 carbon atoms joined to 4 hydrogens, and I've got a double bond in the middle. We can see it's got a double bond, and again we can see it's hydrogen and carbon only, therefore it is an alkene. So how do you draw your alkenes then? First rule, should remember this, all carbon atoms need 4 electrons, they have 4 in the outer shell, they need another 4, which gives them a valency of 4, meaning they can make 4 bonds. Second rule, remember monkeys eat plastic bananas. So monkeys methane eat ethene, plastic propene, and bananas butene. That also tells us the number of carbon atoms, so 1 for methane, 2 for ethene, 3 for propene, 4 for butene. However, there is a bit of an issue. Methane, if we go back to our definition, unsaturated means a double bond. If we extend that a little bit further, it's a double bond between carbon atoms. So you need to have at least 2. Therefore, methane does not exist. There is no alkene with 1 carbon atom. So we get rid of that and we start from number 2. So in the exam, they can turn around to you and say, draw ethene. So the first thing to remember, monkeys eat plastic bananas. Ethene has 2 carbons. So we put those in. It's got an E in the middle, so therefore it's got an equal sign, it's unsaturated, I put a double bond in. So that's 2 bonds between the 2 carbon atoms. And then I remember we have a valency of 4, it can make 4 bonds, so I need 4 bonds from every carbon atom. Now I've already got 2, therefore I just need 2 more on the left, and same again on the right, 2 more. Every carbon atom now has 4 bonds, and then finally it's a hydrocarbon, which means we fill it out with hydrogen and carbon. We've already got our carbons, therefore we just put our hydrogens in. So it's C2H4. What if we were asked for propene then? So let's do the same again. Monkeys eat plastic bananas. Plastic, 3 carbon atoms. Now usually, unless they tell you, and I'll get onto that in a minute, always put the double bond on the left hand side. So it's unsaturated, put your double bond in, and then everything else is going to be a single bond. So you can put a single bond in between your other 2 carbons. And now we do exactly the same again. We need 4 bonds coming out of every carbon atom. So on the left, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my middle one, and this is where people always make mistakes, I've already got 3 bonds. So I only need to add 1 more in. And then finally, on the right hand side, I've got 1 bond between my carbon and my carbon on the right. I need 3 more. So I've done that, and then it's a hydrocarbon, fill it out with hydrogen. So my formula is C3H6. And then my final example is draw but-1-ene. Now, you've not come across that little one in the middle before, so what does it mean? So if we start off as we would normally, let's draw out our monkeys eat plastic bananas, 4 carbon atoms, and I'm going to label them 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that 1, nice and simply, tells you where you put the double bond. So because it's got the 1, it means the first carbon. So it's got to have a double bond from that first carbon atom. So we put that in here. Now if that number was 2, you'd go from the second carbon atom and across, so it would look like that. So let's go back to the one we had, which is but-1-ene. I put my double bond in between my first 2 carbon atoms, and then I make sure every carbon atom has 4 bonds coming out of it. So I have 2 already between my first 2, therefore I need 2 more. I then put single bonds in between all my carbon atoms that haven't got the double bond, and make sure I've got 4 bonds coming out of each, as you can see here. And then once that's done, we fill out the rest with hydrogens. Nice and simple. And my formula is C4H8. And that is everything you need to know for this video. Right, let's see how much you've picked up. So I've got two questions, which is draw and write the formula for butene. So remember, monkeys eat plastic bananas. How many carbon atoms do you have? It's an alkene because you've got that ene at the end. Where do you put your double bond? That's where the 2 comes in. So have a go at that one. And then question 2, explain why butene is classed as an unsaturated hydrocarbon. So for this one, you'll get 1 mark for saying what unsaturated means, and then your other 2 marks will come for the definition of a hydrocarbon. So pause the video, have a go at both questions, and we'll see how you've done in a minute. Okay, let's go through. So we've got butene. Monkeys eat plastic bananas. I've got 4 carbons. So let's place those in. I've got ene, which means I've got an equal sign, which means I've got a double bond. Where do I place it? In my second carbon atom, so I draw that here. I then fill out every carbon so they have 4 bonds coming out of them. And then all that's left is to fill it out with hydrogens. And my formula is C4H8. So you get 1 mark for the structure and 1 mark for the formula. Question 2, explain why butene is classed as an unsaturated hydrocarbon. So unsaturated, what does that mean? Contains double bond. And then hydrocarbon, what's that? Something made out of hydrogen and carbon for 1 mark, only for the second mark for that bit. Okay, I've got a review question for you, which is draw and write the formula for pent-3ene, which has got 5 carbon atoms. So you draw out your 5 carbons, where does that double bond go? And then do the rest as we normally do. So that brings this video to an end. Hi guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click on like down below. You can also subscribe to my channel, you can check out the latest video, and you can visit my website up above here. Bye now.